What attracted you both to these roles? Camila, especially as it's your acting debut.
What attracted me to this film is that I just think it has such incredible values and messages of inclusivity and feminist ideals and just these kind of progressive values that I feel like haven't been represented in the kind of classic fairy tale of Cinderella. So I think it was just, I feel like this movie just carries such important messages for young people and also just people in general.
I was drawn to the idea of revisiting a classic fairy tale and having the opportunity to modernize it, to approach the character and maybe as a less quintessential archetype, to give her more depth and layers and complexity. And I guess that's like a little bit of a pattern for me, sort of gravitating to misunderstood women and giving them more of a voice.
Yeah.
One of the great things about this film is Billy Porter and the role that he plays and gets to reinvent his character as well. How important is it, do you think, to have that kind of queer representation in films these days?
It makes me proud.
Yeah.
I also wish it wasn't such a big deal. And of all people, though, because I've known Billy a long time from the Broadway world, for him to be the one carrying that torch, I think is destiny.
Yeah.
But anything where we can just break down some of these stereotypes and stop really thinking about those things and allow just a magical person to be a magical person, no matter who they are and how they identify.
Totally. And that was his words too. When Kay and him were talking about, Kay was like, I want you to play the fabulous godmother and you can decide kind of what gender, you represent. And he was like, chose for it to be a character that exists, for them to be a character that exists outside of the kind of gender binary. And he was like, magic has no gender. And I just think he was the perfect, he is like so magical. It's almost like who he plays in the movie is what he is on the inside.
When you meet him and he brings that stardust into the room.
Totally.
Now you also both got to write songs for the film, the two original songs, and you both got to sing them as well. Idina, with your song, it kind of connected all the women. What was that like for you? Did you know that was going to happen when you wrote the song?
I didn't. I know that I was so honored actually when Kay said she was going to go in and get all the other female characters in the film singing along. So, there's nothing like that when I collaborated with my good friend Laura Vought's incredible songwriter, and yeah, we had no idea that it would become anthemic in that way and be able to tell everyone's story. And that's the best thing about songwriting, is when you write from this specific place and then it becomes universal.
I was going to ask actually, were those songs that you wrote, both of you, did you personally relate to them on some level as well?
Yeah, definitely. I think like, especially when I wrote Million to One with Scott Harris that day, it was kind of a time in my life where I was feeling like really insecure and really vulnerable and kind of afraid. And I think like that whole song is about those voices of doubt in your own head and being like, you know what, like when I feel my fear staring at me, I tell it, back off, which is not what the words say, but it's basically confronting those voices of doubt and fear in your own head and being like, you know what, no, I'm going to do this anyway. So I totally relate to that. I relate to that all the time.